Alright. And we are live, right? Good day, everybody. My name is Mark Manmohan, and I'm doing a Facebook Live video here with my family. I'm going to show you everybody. This is the whole crew. Well, Maurice, Mike, hopefully. Auntie Beulah, Auntie Sandra, Uncle Brian, Kevin, Portia, the latest couple. And the man of the moment, Uncle David Subran. These are all the paintings that he has done. I am not the best person to explain this, but I think it's something worthwhile for all of us to know about, and even for our families. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to my uncle, Uncle David Subran, and he's going to talk about his paintings for us this morning. Uncle David, the floor is yours.
All right. These paintings reflect an attempt at narrative art to depict the inventorship experience. To answer certain questions about, first of all, why did Indians leave India to come to Trinidad? Remember that this is contravening certain tenets of their religion. Well, things were hard in India. There was a sepoy mutiny. The sepoys were the local Indians who were inducted into the British Army. They had an uprising against the British, and it did not last long. This took place in 1857. It was quickly quelled, but the leaders took reprisals against them. And in that area of northern India, like Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, the reprisals were serious. Some of the ringleaders were attached to cannons and blown apart in order to discourage further attempts at revolt. And the British came down on the different little kingdoms. One kingdom was the kingdom of Jhansi, where the ruler, the Raja, had died, and his queen, the Rani of Jhansi, tried to maintain hold of the kingdom, but the British applied the law of lapse, in that if you die as a king without leaving a male successor, your kingdom will lapse into the ownership of the British. And this wife of the ruler, the Rani, assembled a small group of loyalists and tried to rebel, and this rebellion was quickly quashed, and she was killed shortly afterwards. And the whole area of northern India became unsettled as the British tried to quell revolt. So this would have encouraged people to try to leave this place. India also had hard times with famines and drought, and millions of people died because of these famines. So many of the indentured laborers tried to leave this harsh and oppressive area. And having mentioned the word oppression, there was oppression from the zamindars, the tax collectors who collected taxes on behalf of the British, and who quite regularly will increase the taxes so that life became hard, and they kept these people there at destitution level. There was also oppression from the caste system, oppression from color, and so on. At the same time, we must recognize that sometime earlier, slavery was abolished in British holdings, and there was a need for labor in the British Caribbean territories and in other areas such as Fiji, Mauritius, Natal in South Africa. So the British decided to recruit indentured laborers, people who will be paid a sum so that it cannot be said that they were enslaved people. And they sent around cartiers to the different villages to recruit people to go to the different holdings in other parts of the world. And these cartiers would paint a lovely picture of life abroad, and they tell them that the work is easy, you go there and mine animals and so on. And remember that these people could be easily fooled because many of them will have never left their home villages. They've never seen the ocean. Many of them thought they were just going some short distance away. However, they had to leave, and this scene shows someone leaving the family holdings in a village. You see the well, the ailing father, and the boy taking leave, the bullock cart waiting there to move him away. They would leave familiar scenes such as the Suratal, which is located very near to a particular village called Bansby, which really would have been my ancestral village. And they will then go to the depot. The nearest sub-depot was at Banaras. This is now called Varanasi, a holy city. And there in the sub-depot, under the watchful eye of an Indian magistrate appointed by the British, these would-be indentured laborers will give the assent that they were there not under duress of their own free will, and they will put their thumbprints on the document because most of them were illiterate. And from Varanasi, the holy city, they will sail down the Ganga to the main depot.
Uncle David, the Ganga, you was telling us about the Ganges. This is the Ganges River?
The Ganga is known in India as the Ganga, but other people will call it the Ganges, which seems to be a British-derived name.
Okay.
Ganga is a female goddess of that river. So they will travel down the river, down the Ganga, to the main depot at Calcutta. And this depot will be walled, and once inside there, it's difficult to escape. In addition, certain families will be missing a relative, and they will stand outside the wall calling the name, trying to get that person to leave and come back. This unfortunately never happened. So they board the ships, and these ships will take a lot of water in kegs. They will reside below decks. There are separate quarters for the single males. In the middle you had the quarters for families, and there are the smaller quarters for single females. Now just imagine these people never left their villages. They would hardly have seen anything. They are now facing the mighty Atlantic because the ship will leave Calcutta. It may stop at the city of Madras, where they may take on a few. They pass beyond Ceylon, go around the Cape, go to Natal in South Africa, go up to St. Helena, and then cross the Atlantic. Many people died on the voyage. In one particular instance, over 100 people died on a vessel called the Rhone. On the particular voyage that my grandparents came on, 9 people died on the Urn. They landed.
This I'm seeing here.
There's a burial at sea,
Right.
which would have been a frequent occurrence because it's a rare occasion for a ship to make a voyage without anybody dying.
Okay.
The ship will then lay off Port of Spain and they will land at Nelson Island in barges. And there they will be assigned to estates. Those who are ill will get further attention and so on. And from here, they will go to the different estates.
But this is Nelson Island, and you were saying something earlier about National Trust and trips to Nelson Island
Well,
today.
the National Trust sometimes organize trips to Nelson Island where you will still see this building, not this one. You see the cliffs there.
Mm-hmm.
There have been pictures of Nelson Island with the indentation because fortunately at that time the box camera was coming around and there was a guy working on Nelson Island, an Englishman called Marriott, who was an avid photographer and took these pictures. So we have pictures of indentured Indians in Nelson Island.
Okay.
They will then be assigned to the estates, and in the estates they will be given quarters in the form of barracks. The barrack was usually 10 feet by 10 feet, raised 3 feet above the ground. You see that animals could be reared in that space. They block off an area for a kitchen, in which they will be cooking on a chulha early in the morning, because the workers need to be in the field by sunup, and the fields were sometimes 4 to 5 miles away. A person will blow a conch shell to summon them to work in the dark. And if you're not ready, if your food isn't ready, this will be kicked away by the driver because you need to join the gang. You're being paid the princely sum of 24 cents a day, and you have to earn it.
How did they used to get to the cane fields where they would?
They will walk to the cane field.
Okay.
So there are a whole team of them walking to the cane field in the moonlight or in the dark.
I remember you mentioned before a certain percentage of females needed to come on a ship.
Yes, there were regulations that mandated that there should be a certain number of females, 50% female and so on. But these regulations were flouted because it was difficult to get women to come across, and sometimes they had to capture women to bring them across.
Oh, Lord. But so when they were going to the fields, the men were going to the fields, mainly it were men.
No, men and women go to
Women to the fields as well?
Yes,
Okay.
and sometimes children go to help load the cane.
Okay.
So this painting here shows a typical harvest where people will be cutting cane, they'll be loading cane. You notice that bison carts and mule carts are there. There's the English overseer on a horse, and they will have to leave these cane fields, which were well drained, so there'll be a big ditch in front. There'll be planks placed so the carts could pass over the planks, and they go down the trace up to the derrick. And the derrick will be where the canes are loaded onto bigger vehicles, usually on rails.
Okay, so before we move to the next painting though, this is an arbitrary painting or this is a real place in Trinidad?
I worked in the cane field. So this this painting comes from my memory
Mm-hmm.
of my experiences there
Right.
during a harvest time
Right. This is in Chaguanas?
in Woodford Lodge Estate.
Right. And this is the northern range.
The
Up here.
northern range there, which is a typical feature of the estates. When you look towards the north, you will see the northern range.
Okay.
And here we have a derrick. You'll note that there's a mule-driven winch, a cable going up on the derrick, a scale, a chain around the load of cane, and as the mule walks around on command from the operator, the cable draws the load of cane upwards. When the cane is lifted upwards, this worker here will pull the rope to swing it over the cart, and it is dropped in. The workers will have a short period to rest, to drink water, and there'll be the cane weigher recording the loads and the weights of different loads.
And this, what are these people here? They're doing any corner?
There's a lady selling snacks for refreshments and so on to the cattlemen, as they are called, and the cane loaders. And some of them will be sitting, resting, because it's terrible work.
And this area here, they're drinking water or something?
They're drinking water from something called a copper,
Right.
which would have been used years before to boil sugar in.
Okay.
And they have many of those still around in central Trinidad. They use to hold water.
And I remember you were telling us something about the locomotives. They were not always using the locomotives before.
Well, before you had locomotives, you had mule trains pulling these carriages down to the factory.
And those came from the US, you said?
Well, when locomotives came, most of the locomotives came from the United States.
Okay.
Although these people work 6 days a week, they had time to engage in agriculture. It seems as though agriculture was in their blood, and some of them will have their produce sold. And this is a market scene in Chaguanas. You'll notice the lion house here. And this was the actual market under the Souza shop. And there was the Lumpy shop here. And there was the market before the present site. The United Indians also engaged in a lot of rice cultivation. In every house you will see a rice box, a large box, about 5 feet tall, 4 feet wide, 6 feet long. And this was always filled with rice. It gave off a heat, so if you had fruits to ripen and so on, they put in that box.
Okay.
So rice was an area of activity. Some of the Indians also engaged in jewelry making, and they were well known for filigree work. So here you see a worker holding a bar of gold between his toes, so that both hands will be free for stamping a design. And you also see typical operations in a goldsmith shop: drawing of wire, rolling of gold bars, the melting of gold there. Sometimes the gold will be heated there and poured in, and thrown into acid to clean it. And the Indians who came from Madras, the Tamils, they brought with them certain rituals. Many of them settled in Borsia village, and you will know some of the Madrasis have a surname ending Pillai or Sami, and one of their rituals will be fire walking, where as a form of atonement they will, after many days of prayers and so on, walk across the fire up and down. You can read about these things, these rituals, in the book by Anthony de Vitale, Great Estates of Trinidad and Tobago, or sorry, 8 East Indian immigrants
Okay.
in Trinidad and Tobago.
So there was fireworking taking place in Trinidad back in those days.
Yes, the last one was held in 1945, and which is recorded. So Indians also brought their stories. Many stories are there in the Gita and the Ramayana, but there's also the stories with Radha and Krishna. And these stories will be told by parents and grandparents to younger ones. My grandmother told stories to my father.
You have any water to drink? No?
At that time, there was great unity, great stronger unity between Hindus and Muslims in Trinidad and Tobago. As a matter of fact, the Hindus used to be quite active in raising funds for the Jose festival, which was very elaborate, with very tall tajas. Tall because at that time you had no overhead lines. To see who could lead the procession. And at one time there was a battle between the Jose groups in Endeavour against another group from Woodbrook, and some people were killed. To the extent that processions into cities were banned. But in defiance, those in the south decided that they are going to lead their Jose processions into San Fernando. And the government was expecting problems, so a ship was sent. I think the ship's name is the Dido, D-I-D-O. It was anchored off San Fernando Harbor, and a lot of constables were sent there.
These are the constables in red?
No, these are the midshipmen from the ship in red,
right,
and the constables in white,
okay,
and bluish trousers. There were 2 entrances to San Fernando, one at Crossing and the other one at Toll Gate near Royal Road. And this picture here, this painting, depicts the procession at Crossing. So there will be tajas from Palmis Estate, from south, and from Retrench and so on, converging here at Toll Gate. And the riot act was read by a magistrate from San Fernando, and the officer in charge gave the signal to fire, and they fired on the people in the procession, killing 9 of them at Crossing. Another 10 persons were killed when Captain Baker gave that order at Toll Gate. These people were quickly buried at the end of Mokirapo Street, where the San Fernando Market is now built. Here we have a picture of the buffaloes or bisons as they were called. These animals are unrecognized today, but at the time they were the mainstay, the main motive power in the sugar estates where the indentured Indians worked. They were docile, strong, and very intelligent. During the crop time, they worked from morning until night, and during the 7 months of the rainy season, They will languish in the pastures. And on evenings as the sun was going down, the Baisa boy will strike a discarded plow, and this will make one sound, a splitting sound, and the Baisas will get up from the pastures and walk leisurely to enter the pen for the night.
Before you move on, though, who is this fella here?
Well, I used to enjoy riding the bisons,
Yeah.
so I couldn't resist enjoying myself riding a bison.
Nice one.
And apart from the Canadian mission, the Indians also had school to pass on their religious beliefs, their tenets of the Bhojpuri language, and so on, in sheds. We still have photographs of these sheds around. And the thing is, they wanted their own schools because the Presbyterian schools came with a price that you had to accept the beliefs of Christianity. And some wanted to preserve their traditions. Later on, of course, these schools built by Indians were referred to as cowshed schools, but that now provides us with some source of humor. It is to the merit of Trinidad and Tobago that after the Indians came here as a despised people with a strange language, people laugh at their foods, they laugh at their curry, they laugh at their attire, the dhoti, the songs, and so on. All of these things, tassa and songs and chutney and so on, are now accepted into mainstream culture. So that is the story so far on the indentured laborers.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. One question. We finish yet, Uncle David? What inspired you to do all these paintings?
From a child, I grew up experiencing the arms of my grandmother, who came from the village of Barnsley by the ship Urn in 1896. And she would parade me all over the village. My father's brother was born in India, and my father in Trinidad. And I would grow up in a household and in an area where Indian artifacts existed, where Hindustani was spoken quite frequently, and where we used the foods and the kurma and kachori and so on as part of our heritage. And images would be generated in my mind about these things that they were talking about, the land of India. Certain images will come up, and these images were in need of expression.
Right.
My education was not academic but technical and vocational. So I learned technical drawing from an early age and could gain a sense of perspective and three dimensions and so on. So I suppose this also facilitated my ability to make drawings.
Mm-hmm.
In my work in construction sites, I will sometimes have to go up on buildings and so on and quickly sketch a piece of piping that is required,
Right.
so that this could be fabricated. So drawing and so on has been part of my life, but I never had the time because of my busy life as a worker and as a technical and vocational teacher, as a part-time university lecturer. So when I did get the time was after retirement, and I bought paint and set about learning to paint, and had the opportunity of taking these visions in my mind and putting them in a form that could be communicated to others,
Right.
such as I have done there. My purpose is to inspire young people
Mm-hmm.
who take things for granted.
Yeah.
They don't recognize the hardships that their grandparents endured so that they could enjoy social mobility now.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman who once said in Trinidad that there is no mother India for those whose ancestors came from India. There is no mother Africa for those whose ancestors came from Africa. But I am really beguiled by the writings of Alex Haley, who said that within the bosom of all of us, there is a need to find out where we came from
Yeah.
and who we are. And unless this need is satisfied, we will be forever hungry for this type of information.
Thank you very much. Well, that's generally with the Indians' history in Trinidad, but just to get a little more personal for our family, you were saying your grandmother came from India. And if you could give us a little more about the genealogy of our parents, grandparents.
My grandmother's name was John Deere.
Mm-hmm.
The practice at that time was to have a single name. My grandfather's name was Subran.
Right.
My uncle was Ragbir. So once in Trinidad, you had to have a surname. So my uncle's children carried the surname Ragbir. My father took the surname of his father, and his name was Ramnial Subran.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that surname, Subran. Now this is fortunate because most of the Indians who went to St. Vincent, they were told that their names were unpronounceable and they will therefore all have to take the surname of the plantation owner.
Right.
So you'll find a lot of Vincentian Indians have surnames such as Huggins.
Mm-hmm.
My mother came from St. Vincent,
Right.
and her surname was Bailey.
Bailey, right.
So now the Vincentian people are trying to make amends by giving Indian middle names to their children.
Right, right. So your father was Ramdial Subran. His brother was Ragbir.
Yes.
So Ragbirs are our family
Yes.
as well. And then Ramdial Subran married Beryl Bailey. Right. And then they had you.
Now, Beryl Bailey was an Anglican.
Right.
My father was a Hindu.
Right.
So I grew up in a cosmopolitan environment.
But I remember our grandparents, they wasn't like a Pentecostals or something like that at all.
Well, later on,
Mm-hmm.
many Indians had this desire to be part of the mainstream.
Right.
It feels good on a Sunday when you could put on a suit and have a book in your hand and a hip book in your hand and go to a decent place to sit down.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to sit down cross-legged and all
Right.
this, you know. So I suppose this attracted people, and I believe everybody has the right to
Yeah.
make this choice.
All right. Cool.
See?
I understand that. But before we end the video, where are we right now, Uncle David, and why we have these paintings here?
We are in the frame shop,
Mm-hmm.
and this is at 65 Carlos Street in Port of Spain, near the corner of Robert Street.
Right.
I was operating as a lone and solitary painter, painting for my own satisfaction, my own joy. Painting gives me a lot of fulfillment.
Right.
Time could pass by, night could come, and I will be engrossed in my work. However, I was pulled reluctantly from this isolation by a visiting artist, Mr. Ashraf Ramsaran, who came there, and he was impressed with my work to the extent that beyond all dreams, he offered an opportunity to show my work
Okay.
at the frame shop.
Okay.
and which I had no hesitation in accepting.
Right.
And I am totally indebted
Hmm.
to his gracious offer.
All right. So these paintings, you're taking them back home, or they're for sale,
No,
or?
you will see most of them have been sold. All
Oh,
those
shucks.
with the red dots. You see 20 red dots out of the 27 red.
Let me see. Here's a red dot right here. Number 25. So people number 25 is sold. All right. And let's see, who owns the shop? The frame shop here. Who runs the shop?
Mr. Ashraf from Subran, you could.
No, Mr. Asha, he's camera shy, but I believe these paintings, if I'm not mistaken, they are for sale and they are on show Mondays to Saturdays, not Mondays to Saturdays from. Right, you have a secret helper here. 25th of May to 22nd of June. And from what time? From 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. But next week is a public holiday, Wednesday and Thursday. So, we wouldn't be available on those 2 days. But you could come and hopefully, if by then all the paintings are sold out, at least you could still see the paintings and maybe get one of these documents which explains what each painting is about. Right? Uncle David, have any closing remarks you want to make before we end this video? Especially for the next generation.
Well, I was very happy for your effort in putting this to a wider public. And I hope the younger generation would realize that we didn't drop from the sky. We all have a background.
True.
And we should try to perseverance exhibited by our ancestors.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Uncle David. All right, so we'll be ending this video now. Feel free to share this video with your friends, whether Indian, not Indian, whether you're my family, not my family. It's a history of Trinidad and Tobago right here. So feel free to share this with as many people as you like. Take care and God bless. Bye.